Hi, my name's Gavin. I'm an environmental engineer, got about 22 years experience, mostly in water and wastewater treatment, but I've done quite a bit around sort of biosolids, solid waste, composting, that sort of stuff. So this project's sort of really around, like for me, it's around diverting organic material from going to landfill, because we send a lot of food waste goes to land, we waste around $600 million a year on food waste. But it's also around, to me, there's a lot of embodied energy and water involved in making food, and we don't honour that, and so how to look after it and make sure it's beneficially reused. And it's very good, like working with Huia in terms of having a Māori perspective, because they're very tied close to land, to see it's a better way to be in terms of actually being responsible for what you do as a consumer, because we're pretty terrible really. So for me, in terms of the impacts, is that real community engagement and ownership of food waste and compost, and that more resilience, especially Christchurch have been through a lot of the last 10 years, earthquakes and mass shooting and pandemic, and we're all quite stressed but also quite resilient. But this is a lot of sort of going back to things, turn to custard a little bit. How do we sort of look after ourselves from a food resilience point of view, and having really good compost that's got high bacterial activity rather than a sterile compost, and having that tied back with the land to understand how we can make our own backyard work for us, and school groups, community groups, people at risk, and also looking at obesity and diabetes and heart attacks, cancer. We don't know how to take care of ourselves and the land. So that's where I'm hoping we'll get that real wholesale community engagement and just have a better time with the land. Yeah, like for me, it's around that. As an engineer in water and wastewater, it's about being efficient with what we do, and like food waste, I've been involved in solid waste for around 8 years. It's just, you see so much just chucked out, and especially food, there's a lot of stuff just not eaten, like bread, it gets chucked out a lot of like pizza and takeaways, fish and chips, biscuits, and there's a lot of energy and time that goes into food, and a lot of it comes from overseas, like bananas and oranges from California where they're in a drought. It's just crazy stuff. But to me, it's around that I'm good on technical issues, being involved with a group of people who are really passionate about this as well, and trying to give something back to the community, and having that real community involvement, and especially around environmental issues, climate change. We need to focus on what we can do locally, rather than thinking of I can't do anything. It's actually, you can do a lot just locally, but it's providing, I think, possibilities for people on what they can do locally. And for me, it's around, instead of just thinking about things, it's taking action. I think is key, and I think for a lot of people, even if you take a little bit of action, you feel a lot more positive rather than just doing nothing.